Taekwondo for self-defense. So I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they said, "Well, if you look at quite a few of the last 15 years or so, quite a few of the MMA champions have been downgraded in Taekwondo." I mentioned one of my all-time favorite guys, probably one of your favorite people too, El Wapo Bashrutin. He was bullied. Did I think it was like 3 to 6 months of Taekwondo? Punched Chucky, the town bully, in the face. Never bullied again. These examples were used as a way of saying Taekwondo is a great style. One of my favorite heavyweight fighters ever, Crow Cop, also a black belt in Taekwondo. Arguably the greatest middleweight of all time, Anderson Silva, black belt in Taekwondo. The issue is, if you go back and watch their MMA fights, how many fights did they win using Taekwondo? So Anderson Silva's a bit of an anomaly because he's got multiple black belts and other things. Bashrutin, I think any physical activity that Bashrutin had been involved with would have given him the confidence to fight back. I think Bashrutin's one of those guys that would have been able to make anything work. The other interesting thing about that is, if we take what he did, he used a rear punch, which is essentially a straight. It's a boxing straight. Literally from here, travels in a straight line, cracks him in the face. I have done a video before on the difference between a straight and a cross. Very, very quickly, a straight goes from here, travels in a straight line. A cross comes up, travels across. A hook, the arm stays bent at all times. Simples. What we find in Taekwondo that works, we can find better versions of in other systems. So, as I've said many, many times, when it comes to hand techniques, the very best punches in all martial arts are found in boxing because they dedicate 100% of their time to the art of punching without getting punched back. Kicks, it's just my opinion. You can have your own opinion. I think Muay Thai has the best kicks. They've figured out the best way of getting the whole body into it, using the full weight distribution of the body behind the body mechanics of what's the best part of the body to hit with. Again, if you're barefoot, even if you're wearing trainers, if you connect with the foot, there's a good chance you're going to break the little bones in the foot. If you connect with the shin, as long as you're turning the hip over and getting the shin going in at the correct angle, you're not really going to damage the shin. If you're about to bring up the videos of people breaking their shins, including the aforementioned Anderson Silva, you'll notice when they throw the kick and it gets checked, they're not turning the hips over, and they're coming in at the wrong angle, allowing the bone to go as opposed to coming in where it won't break. So the shin bone is shaped like a ruler. There's a Bashrutin clip. If I can find it, I'll put it in the description, where he explains the shin bone basically looking like a ruler, and if you hit it at the right angle, it'll be fine. If you come in at the wrong angle, you're going to snap it. Stripping down the Taekwondo syllabus, how many of their techniques translate well to self-defense? Not a lot. The big fancy flashy spinning kicks and the big head kicks, we don't advocate for self-defense because you're off balance. It's more exposed. You're more vulnerable to take a shot to the crotch. Kicking from the floor, bringing my foot or my shin all the way up to your head, to then bring it all the way back down to the floor, or bring it up, spinning around to bring it back. It's too much time going from the ground up to the target to bring it back before I'm stable and balanced. The longer it has to travel, further distance to travel, the more time, even if it's a really quick kick, the more time it travels, the more time there is for you to recognise and see it coming, the more time there is for you to either then get out of the way or for you to barrel forwards into me to hit me with something. The more time it takes to travel, the more time that I'm off balance. So again, the aforementioned Crow Cop used head kicks, the left head kick, perfectly. It was brilliant. How many other people have made a career of head kicks? Just because one guy did it and made it really, really, really effective doesn't mean it's an effective technique for all of us to use. Flip side of this, look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very, very effective. How do we know? Because almost every MMA fighter trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Not all of them. Boxing, very, very effective. How do we know? Because every MMA fighter trains boxing. Yes, they do. More MMA fighters will train boxing than they do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Don't come at me. Unless you want to come at me with a well thought out argument, then by all means come at me in the comments. Back to Taekwondo. A lot of what Taekwondo does isn't applicable to self defense. The big flashy head kicks are completely out of the question. The punches, better punches are found in boxing. So not a lot of it works. The stuff that does work, we can find better versions of elsewhere. So for Taekwondo, I don't rate it for self defense. If you are a Taekwondo practitioner and you completely disagree with everything I'm saying, pop yourselves in the comment section and let me know. If you have a way of using Taekwondo for self defense, let me know in the comment section. I can only go by what I have seen in other people's Taekwondo. I can only go by what I've seen in the World Taekwondo Championships, the Olympic Championships, regional, national, everything else in between championships, looking at the very best Taekwondo fighters in the world, then looking at what real violence is and going, they don't go together. So if I'm missing something, and I'm sure there is, I'm sure there's a whole batch of moves and a whole clump of syllabus in Taekwondo that you're not allowed to use in the actual competition, let me know. Let me know. Get in touch with me and let me know. Show me a clip. Show me something that you would use for self-defense. If I don't agree with it, I will reply and say, no, here's why I don't think that would work. If I do agree with it, I'll nick it and I'll use it, but I'll give you the credit. What I've always said, what does work in Taekwondo is the stretching. You look at all the funky angles they're throwing kicks from, they're stretching. So for legs and hips, steal Taekwondo stretches because they work. But in terms of practicality for taking Taekwondo from the, I believe it's Dojang in Taekwondo because it's Korean, and using it on the street, it's not going to work. The old style of teaching Taekwondo, as mentioned by Gary Spears in an interview he did, was they teach you a punch, they teach you a kick, they teach you a block, then you put the body armor on and you beat the shit out of each other. Because Taekwondo has become such a mega force in the world of martial arts, you don't get that anymore because it's a money-making machine. So I believe Taekwondo is the most popular or most practiced martial art in the world. You tend to get a lot of kids going into it. So if I'm making a ton of cash from teaching kids, I'm not really going to say, nope, stay where you are. Here's what we're going to do, make it real. Here's what we're going to do, make it practical. Because then people stop showing up. This is why grappling has the highest dropout rate of any of the martial arts. This is why there's not really a long queue outside the boxing gym. How ironic that I botched the word boxing with the word botched. You don't get a queue outside the boxing gym. There's not really ever a waiting list for a judo club. Anyway, that's my opinion. If you disagree with me, pop it in the comment section. Let me know.